Good morning and welcome to 1 Million Cups. My name is Keenan and I will be your guys' MC this morning. Thank you all for being here. We have great attendance today. If you guys have your phones, which I'm assuming you do, you guys can go ahead and download the app. It's on the Google Play Store and the App Store, and check in. That kind of helps us keep track of who's coming and how many people are coming each week, and we've really seen a boost in attendance since the relaunch in 2018. So thank you all for being here. We are so glad you are in the audience. I want to give a big thank you to the sponsors that are up on the screen right now. They help make 1 Million Cups happen week after week, every Wednesday here at 9 a.m. So if you know somebody on the screen or somebody that owns a business here or that's connected, make sure you thank them because their support goes a really, really long way for 1 Million Cups. So do we have any first-timers? Any first-timer? All right, we got a few first-timers. So for the first-timers out there, 1 Million Cups is a free weekly program that gives one or two entrepreneurs an opportunity to come on stage and talk about something that they're working on, their business, an idea that they have, and get feedback from you, the audience. So we're going to have two different speakers today, and they are going to give about a 10-minute talk, and then the rest of it's going to be some questions. So make sure you guys ask them some tough questions, and make sure you challenge them because that's what's going to really help them grow. And the idea was, can we change the face of our community by having 1 million cups of coffee together? So if you don't have your coffee yet, if it was too busy out there, sneak out right now and go grab a cup. We got a couple minutes yet. If you have some questions that you're thinking of while they're talking, you can use hashtag 1MCND, and you can ask your questions on Twitter. We have Ashton on Twitter this morning. That way, if you're a little mic shy, you can still ask questions that you might be interested in. So up next, we have some announcements. So if you have some announcements, I know there's a few different announcements. You guys can make your way to the front of the stage now, and we will cover all of those right away. I think we have a slide for Big Blue Couch Coaching right off the bat.
Good morning. I'm Mandy Anderson from Big Blue Couch Coaching, and we are a personal and professional development company, life coaching for women. And we have our big event called Beautiful Wholeness coming up on Saturday, February 17th. You can get tickets for a little over a week yet. They close on Tuesday at noon. We do have a couple different options, so if you want to bring a friend with you, you get a price discount on that. If you want to sponsor a table of 6 as an organization or a group of friends, we also have a table sponsorship price as well. So we hope to see some of you there.
I don't know what's coming next. Main Street. Hello, my name is Jay Spieler. I work over in the governor's office. Governor Burgum, sorry he couldn't be here tonight, so you're stuck with me. But I wanted to come by and say, invite you all to the Main Street Summit next Monday and Tuesday. I'm sure you've heard about it before, but we've got 3 national speakers coming in, just tremendous people that know a lot about community planning, community organizing. Then we have several well-known speakers from North Dakota that are going to be talking about how to build vibrant communities, really look at 21st century workforce, and then thinking about how we're building smart, efficient infrastructure in our community. So we'd love to see you all there. Bismarck right now is leading the pack for the amount of participants registered, but Grand Forks and Fargo are catching up. So make sure you get the word out, and we'd love to see more people register from Bismarck.
Hey everybody, I'm Kate with the Downtowners. Janelle's gone, but she asked me if I would just announce Startup Drinks is going to be Monday night at Proximal 50's downtown location from 4:30 to 7:30. We're also going to have some Main Streeters there from 6 to 7:30, so if you want to chat with them and have some drinks with them, real downtown nerds. Great, I mean in a great way though. So show up. It'll be really helpful for Janelle if people can go to the Facebook event and just say if you're coming or not so we can get a good number on how many meatballs we need. Okay. Hope to see you there.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gustavo, and I just want to tell you about Coach Connect. We had record attendance at our last meetup, and we're stepping it up a notch this month. We're going to have Justin Walsh, CTO and co-founder of CoSchedule, be our speaker, and he's going to tell us how to learn to think like a pragmatic engineer. So that's going to be really, really awesome. It's going to be here at Dakota Stage on the 22nd of February. As always, there'll be free food, so come hungry. And if you know anybody that's interested in coding, programming, design, I think this will be a perfect talk for them to come to. Even if they have no experience, this is going to be just how to, have the abilities to become a better coder or designer or whatever. So it's going to be awesome. You can register on meetup.com/CodeConnect and follow us on Twitter and Facebook at CodeConnectND. Thanks.
All right, I'm Dawn. I'm with the Downtowners, but today I'm wearing my Capital Shakespeare hat. I am one of the founding board members of Capital Shakespeare, and this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have our winter show at the Heritage Center in the Russell Reed Auditorium. It is called The Dining Room. It is a play by A.R. Gurney, and it basically goes through the lifespan of a dining room table and chairs, all the families and people that gather around it. So it's going to be a fantastic play. It's Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m., Friday, Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at matinee at 2 p.m. It is free. So come to the Heritage Center, Russell Reed Auditorium, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Join us for this wonderful play. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Kelsey with Tracy Sanctuary House, and tomorrow is Giving Hearts Day. So I don't know if you know much about Giving Hearts Day, but it's a 24-hour online giving day, and there is 404 charities that are from North Dakota and western Minnesota that are involved. And Tracy Sanctuary House, it's our first year being involved in Giving Hearts Day, but how the premise works is that usually every dollar for dollar donated that day is matched by another donor. So each organization does find their matching donors, either through the DMF Foundation, the Dakota Medical Foundation out of Fargo, or through their personal donorships. So definitely go out, give every penny counts, open your hearts and give that day. So starting at 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Tomorrow, you can go online and donate. It's givingheartsday.org.
I was also going to plug Giving Hearts Day, so so thank you for that. Although I have another announcement. So the largest social event in North Dakota is now open for registration. So the Mandan Parade. So anybody who's interested in having a float or whatever in the Mandan Parade, the registration is now open. And you want to register early if you want to get a prime spot, because those go very, very fast. So mandanparade.com is where you find that. So have a great day, everybody. No. Independence Day, July 4th. So.
All right, thank you everybody for the announcements. Up next, we have our speakers. So first up, we have, I know Ben Brick very, very well, and he actually worked on kind of a mural piece that was in our studio. And while he was working on that and some stuff while he was working at home, we captured a little video for him. So we're going to play that quick before I do an introduction of Ben.
You know those moments when the computer makes everything like perfect? I don't like that. I like things to be a little messed up, like a little, I don't know, like you did by hand. Whether the final product is like a perfect final product or not, I always start on paper first. That way it just gives it that human aspect that I'm kind of looking for with things. When I was 4 years old, there was a cartoon on Fox. It was called Ninja Turtles. I wouldn't even really pay attention to the show. I would just draw the character, but it would be like the same thing over and over and over again. I didn't know it existed. I had no idea that graphic design existed, and I had never even understood that people draw things for a living. But it wasn't until my mom kind of was just like, if you could get a little bit better here. You could do this for a living, and you could have fun for a living. And that kind of set me on the path to graphic design and then later illustration. The better you get at something, the more you want to do it. When you sit down and you practice for 8 hours at something, you're going to want to do it again the next day. And that just kind of compiles, and it keeps growing and growing. and you end up kind of being obsessed, which is pretty fun. My name's Ben, and my passion is illustration.
All right, so up first, Ben has lived in Bismarck most of his life. He enjoys riding motorcycles, making up silly cartoons, and going to strange new places. A little-known fact about Ben is he used to work at Walt Disney World. He's an organizing team member for Makewell, is married to Rebecca Brick, who is in the audience, and she is founder and photographer at Maybell Photography. Please help me welcome Ben Brick to the stage.
Thank you. Am I on? Well, seriously, if you ever have a chance to let Threefold make you a video, you got to take it. Just give them free stuff. Make them do it for you. Good stuff. So thank you all for being here. My name is Ben Brick. I am the founder and illustrator of Brick. A lot of people ask me, why is it just Brick? I get that question quite a bit, and I had to do some thinking about it. But the biggest thing is, it used to be Brick Design, and I used to get inquiries a lot. Hey, can you do this layout design? Can you make this book for me? It's like, oh man. Then I had to send them an email and be like, oh, actually, I am I more make things out of nothing to tell your story. So took off the brick and eliminated a lot of those emails. Now people have to kind of like research me and figure out what I do. So let me tell you why I'm an illustrator and not a designer. So let's take it back and go to college. Whoop. There we go. Look at that, right? It's pretty good. When I was in college, I had this big idea. I wanted to work at a marketing agency. I wanted to be a creative director, and I wanted to change the way that we marketed to people. That's a big goal, right? And so I was looking around for a marketing job, and it was very difficult, especially with a logo like that. So I made a few changes, came up with something a little bit better, and I got the marketing job. Yes, right? So I was there for about 1.5 years, and I just loved it. Every day I came to work, I sat down in a comfy chair, and I said, I've made it. I've done it. This is everything I've always wanted. But then, about 1 year into it, I started doing the millennial thing. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, man, I'm not going to be able to change the world here, because I was just a designer. I didn't get to make a lot of the big decisions. So I looked around and realized that there are more qualified people here that would be the creative director. There was a lot of people in line, and I probably wouldn't get there unless I pestered them enough to get them out of the office. So I came home and I talked to my wife, Rebecca, and I said, I really want to go out on my own. I want to do this and do it for real. And the biggest decision we had was figuring out, well, what was I going to do? Because I really didn't enjoy layout design. I liked creating things out of nothing. And so we decided on the moniker of illustrator. So every time I talk to somebody, I say I'm an illustrator. And a few reasons is, number one, because I don't like layout design. Number two is because, hold on, it's in my head. Do you remember what the second one was? There we go. So, so everybody knows a designer, right? I think everybody in here can probably count 2 designers in their head, maybe even 5. Another big one that I have to mention is because I would be competing with people like Jeff, and that's just not going to happen, right? And what finalized this decision for me was Rebecca's mom actually gave me a few magazines. They were old Boys Life magazines from the 1950s, and I got to tell you, these things, there were advertisements all over these magazines that were just, they touched my soul, right? every one of these is like an artist's signature. Like, you don't have to change the way that you're designing. You just, like, each person has their own line, right? Now, I understand that these ads are a little dated, but there's just something about them. The lines are rough, and they do something that a photograph can't do and that a computer can't really do. So I just fell in love with these, and I started thinking, how can I bring this back? Because it's kind of a shame that we don't utilize illustrations as much as we used to. So I started experimenting on my own brand, and it ended up looking pretty cool. At least I thought it did. I don't know if it resonates with everybody, but dang, I really like this stuff. So if you look up at the top here, I don't know if any of you saw this ad, top corner. That was an advertisement in the Connection. And it's a coupon for a free high five, but nobody ever redeemed it. So I don't know if it actually works. So after figuring out my own look, one really cool thing about this is, you notice I don't have a logo anywhere. Well, I might have a logo on this page, but if you saw something in here, you might think that I did it. Like, that's a very strong marketing move. If you can see just a graphic and know whose company that belongs to, that's a really strong, like, marketing move. So that's a sell for you. So I started thinking, how can I bring this to my clients? And this is the body of work that I've done since I've been on my own. And there's a lot more to this body of work, but these are like the highlights that I'm just like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. And some of the cool things about this is you can see all these word logos, except for this right here. That's a font. But a lot of these word logos are hand done. And the cool part about that is you'll never see these as fonts. So that means it's a lot more difficult for another company to try to make a logo that's similar to yours. That's kind of how I like to do logos, I guess. But so I have some of the coolest clients ever. They all kind of like let me do whatever I think is best for them. This right here is actually a fertilizer company, this middle one. And I had to have a meeting with him first, because when he told me he was a fertilizer company, I had to sit down with him, and I'm like, you know I make like cartoons, right? And he's like, yes, just do whatever you think is best. And I was like, my marketing is working. That's exactly the client that I want. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's just like an amazing client that lets me kind of build their personality on paper. All right. So before I leave today, I just want to try to really explain what the difference is between illustration and design. And you'll notice here that a lot of designers also do illustration. And a lot of illustrators probably do a lot of design. But what an illustrator does is they create something out of nothing to explain something. And what a designer does is takes that information and makes it easy to read and easy to consume. So I make the art and they know where to put it. That's kind of how I explain it. All right, so where am I going? My number one goal this year is to get 50% of my clients from outside of the state. And I know that sounds a little scary. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to leave Bismarck at all. I love it here. But my big goal is to bring in money. Like, I want to kind of do my part, because like everybody else, did I click it too many times? There we go. Like everybody else, I shop on Amazon. And so I'm getting a lot of Bismarck money right now, and I'm also like kind of sending that Bismarck money to Amazon. So I really want to get money in to North Dakota, and I'm going to try to do my part there. So how I'm going to do that is client work. I'm really solid on client work right now. I want to create some products that, aren't really found in Bismarck right now. We have a lot of ideas. Basically, I just want to make really cool stuff and just see if anybody buys it. And then the last one here is teaching, and I get to do a teaching workshop with Amos this weekend, so that'll really jumpstart my teaching, my jump into teaching. So I'm really excited for that. I'm also planning on trying to do like webinars and stuff like that. But anyways, so that's kind of the plan. So I want to thank y'all for listening to my little speech here.
All right, give it up for Ben.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we will bring Ben back on stage for some Q&A. Up next, we have Jeff Knight from Fargo-Moorhead. Jeff is a designer, maker, artist, community organizer, design advocate, and lover of foosball. He's involved in both entrepreneurship and arts organizations in Fargo-Moorhead. And last year, Jeff launched his own creative studio called Serial. And he has some great news to share about a self-funded project he's been working on since 2014 called Albino Buffalo. Please help me welcome Jeff.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. Thanks for coming out. I'm Jeff. I'm from Fargo. I'm originally from Moorhead, Minnesota, but I, through multiple ways, ended up back in the Fargo-Moorhead area. I work there. I currently work at a business I started called Serial. What do I do? So recently this kind of all came about. It kind of challenged me a little bit to figure out what exactly it is that I do and why I do it. What I do is I'm in the business of making people happy. So that's a pretty broad statement to make, but I realized this just recently with a partner that I had, and I'll tell you this quick little story, but we were sitting down having coffee, talking about logos that I'd created for him. He was in a business. They had been around for 125 years. They were actually the construction company that built the Fargo Theater, so if you know Fargo, you know the Fargo Theater. But they needed a new brand. They had never really had a great, strong logo. They were looking at rebranding, and so I was called up to create that. Sitting around, we were talking through different options, different logos, kind of trying to figure out exactly what they wanted. Through multiple meetings with them, I presented some options to them. Kind of went through some things, and then he was present, and he was just kind of sitting back and not really saying a whole lot during the whole presentation of all these different logos, and then at the very end just kind of sat back and looked at me and just kind of said, so basically your job is just to go around and make people happy all day. Like, that's pretty much all you do. Which was nice. I mean, that was great, because on one hand, great, you like what I was doing, because I hadn't heard from you the whole meeting, so that's awesome. But then also, it got me to think, like, wow, that's actually kind of accurate, because my goal is to make people happy. My goal is to invest in what they're investing in, which is usually their small business, large business, whatever it is they happen to have. What I provide them is giving their business a visual identity. So it's basically giving a face to what they're invested in. And up to that point, a lot of these small businesses don't have them. I work with a lot of startups, entrepreneurs, so they're really excited and really hungry, but they don't have a face to their business yet. And so providing that face to the business, I just get to see that joy and I get to see that excitement through them in building what they're building. And so by providing that, I'm actually in a business of making people happy, which is kind of awesome. Oops. But not all fun and games. So recently, I have started this business called Serial. It's a learning experience. Basically, I have no business background. I've never taken a business class. I know very little about business in general. That is something I'm working on right now and trying to catch up with. I've worked in pretty much every design job you could possibly have. I've worked in-house at businesses, freelance, under night design I kind of went by for a while, and I've worked in agencies. I've worked for clients super tiny and local. I've worked for international clients worldwide. So I've kind of done a little bit of it all, and none of it really ever made me super fulfilled, okay? Recently, I left a teaching position. So I was a professor of graphic design at Concordia College in Moorhead for about 3 years. I left that position to start my own, which as a teacher, you get educational benefits, you get retirement, salary, nice things like that. Constant paychecks are nice. And I left all that for basically the exact opposite of that, not knowing where my money is going to come from, not knowing where my partner base or client base is going to come from, which was really scary. And it's a lot of learning along the way. So it's been a really fun adventure. I don't think I'd be a good designer if I didn't like to solve problems, because that's kind of what we do. And starting your own business and starting your own kind of just creative shop, I guess, is what I've created, is all about solving problems. So that's constantly my daily goals. But recently, formed a partnership. So Ryan Fritz, who is he's CEO of Office Sign Company in Fargo. He's a really good friend of mine. He's kind of a mentor to me. We've had multiple conversations over the years. I talked to him about this idea of let's start a design business together. He said, great, let's do it. Sooner than later, we ended up with Serial. And we launched this last May, and so we're not even a year old yet, but we're kind of still working on a lot of things. Just getting our name out there and trying to let people know that Serial is a thing, trying to merge my client base off of Night Design into Serial, and trying to do all that kind of fun stuff. So Serial has been launched. Some of the things I've learned along the way, I just kind of want to mention some things. And this is kind of mostly for people just starting out and just kind of getting into the business community. First one is just show up. So I told my students a lot, I won't be able to care about the work that you're able to provide if I don't know who you are. So just showing up is half of it. If you can show up, if you can be at things, go to events, go and put at least a face to what it is you're doing, that's half of the work. The other half is then obviously trying to make connections with people and trying to network a little bit as far as what you're capable of doing. Say yes to more opportunities. I used to be a no person for a long time, and that got me nowhere. But really, it's about saying yes. It's about kind of just making up your mind and saying, yeah, I'm going to go to that thing tonight. And even though I don't want to, I'm going to make sure I do it. I'm going to make sure that that's a priority. I'm an introvert-extrovert person, so half the time I'm kind of, I don't really want to go to that thing, and half the time I'm really excited to go. And I'm usually one of those people where at the very last minute I'll kind of like either bow out or go all in. So, but I made up my mind to say yes to more things. And if you're that kind of no person that keeps kind of bowing out of things, I really challenge you to try to say yes to more things. Take on a few projects for others. I'm a big advocate for artists and creative people getting paid for the work that they do, but I would be a hypocrite to say that I didn't start out doing a few free projects. And that's not to say that I encourage you to go out and do a whole bunch of free projects. What I encourage you to do is find some people, find some causes maybe that you really believe in, and do some work for them, because there's a ton of people out there that need help with, in my case, it's a design, whatever it is that you do. Maybe you can provide services as well, but to be able to provide those services and be able to help them out with one of those things not only sort of gives you a little more extra portfolio work. Hopefully it's something that you can actually be more creative in, but it's also, you're able to just meet more people, and you're able to network with people you may not have met before. Find someone to champion you. So that's something that kind of is reciprocal. Find someone to champion you. Find yourself able to champion someone else. Just really, if you're able to uplift each other in a community, that helps a lot. If you have someone that's willing to talk about your work, spread the word about your work, that's super helpful. Work hard, kind of goes without saying, and then always feed your creativity. And that's something I have to constantly be telling myself and constantly challenging myself. So I have a bunch of projects that I do that feed into that creative side of myself. Do something that feeds your passion. So it's basically up to you to figure that out. What is it that you're passionate about, and how can you continue to do that? I did that through a couple of different ways. One of them was serving on board. There was a moment where I was on, I think, 4 or 5 different boards in the community, and I do not recommend doing that. That was excessive, and it was really intense. So do not do that. Maybe find like one that you really, really like. But I encourage you to do that. Find something that you're interested in and serve on that board, because not only do you get to understand the inner workings of what some of those organizations are about, but you also get to meet all these different people. So I'm very interested in the arts. I'm a big advocate of the arts in Fargo, so I decided to be on the Arts Partnership Board, the Rourke Art Gallery Board. Currently, I'm the president of the American Advertising Federation of North Dakota, so if you've heard of the Addies, the Addie Awards, that's all part of that. But this was a way for me to meet new people, both in my industry and out. And as a business person, I want to be able to meet as many people as I can. And this is a way to kind of bring some like-minded people. You obviously have something in common, otherwise you wouldn't be on the board together. But then also you're bringing in lawyers and doctors and all kinds of random people that are really invested in the arts. And that's pretty cool that you have something in common already. Now you can maybe even create business partners out of them. Passion projects. So I won't go into all the passion projects that I have going. That would take probably all day. What I'm going to do is just mention a couple. And actually, Good for Nothing, which is kind of a give back model that we have in Fargo, where we create a 24-hour, kind of like a startup weekend, but for nonprofits. We give them advertising and design work. I teach wood carving classes under Whistler Lure, little fishing lure classes. I partnered with another designer artist in town from Fargo. We create a pop-up art gallery that shows up every 6 months or so. Artomat Fargo is a vending machine that dispenses artwork. And then the picture on the right is a project that's going to be released next spring, which was a city grant that I applied for to provide bike racks. So we designed bike racks. This one spells out Fargo in sign language, and that's going to be on Broadway starting next spring. But just a creative way to bring public art back into the community. So these are all things that I just decided to kind of take on by myself. Nobody told me to start these. They were just things that I felt like could be useful to the community and could be helpful in spreading different messages. This is the one I really want to talk about quickly, Albino Buffalo, which has been going on now for about 3-4 years, I think. Albino Buffalo is just the name I gave to a series of sticker vending machines that dispense local artist stickers. So within the region, I've been commissioning artists now. I think we're up to about 35 artists that have been through here. We're up to our 7th series of stickers. And basically, it's a way to create art and have it be more accessible to a community. So instead of walking into a gallery and buying a $5,000 painting or whatever, you get to go up to a vending machine, put in 50 cents, and walk away with a sticker of that artist. It has an artist bio card. You get to learn more about the artist, and there's more information provided. In Series 7, we happen to have someone that you probably already know. Ben Brick is going to be in this series, so he's already got a few in there as well. And I'm kind of happy to announce that we'll have a machine now in Bismarck. So officially, we will be bringing this here. Thank you. And that's something I'm super excited about because I love having them. We have 2 machines in Fargo. We had one in Bemidji for a while. I love having them outside the community because not only does it get to expand a little bit on the artist base in this region, but it just gets to show everybody kind of who's doing what and who are people that are contributing to the creative culture that we have here. So yeah, really excited about this. We're hoping to launch this week sometime. I'm still trying to narrow down exactly where this thing is going to go. I think what's the record store called? Yeah. What is it? Rhythm Rhythm Records. Yeah, I'm still trying to get a hold of those guys, but I can't get a call back. So we'll hopefully be hearing back from them pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. And then one last little thing I'm going to say. Passion projects. This is actually kind of the first time I'm announcing this too, but I was just approved for having a chapter of Creative Mornings in Fargo. So if you've ever watched Creative Mornings talks, they're a lot like TED Talks, but for the creative community. But they're put on once a month, kind of like A Million Cups. So TEDx meets Million Cups for the creative community. Fargo now has a chapter. So if you're ever coming through Fargo and you want to stop in and see a cool Creative Mornings talk, we will shortly have those. So that's coming very soon. And we're going to be joining the 101 creative cities throughout the world. So you can also watch these videos online. Part of our agreement is that we upload them and show them to whoever wants to see them. So passion projects feed into a lot of just kind of the business side of things, but also it just builds you up as a better, in my case, it's a better designer, better artist, better community member. Yeah, that's kind of all I really have to say. So,
all right, give it up for Jeff. We will bring Ben back on the stage and bring these guys over here for some Q&A. All right, we have Ashton on Twitter. So if you guys have some questions to ask her or ask on Twitter, you can use hashtag 1MCND and ask those that way. We also have Lexi, our mic runner this morning, so feel free to throw your hand up and ask your questions there. I have a quick one, just on the arts partnership in Fargo, Jeff, and kind of your involvement and what it is for the Fargo community.
So what is it, kind of? So basically the arts partnership, which I've done a lot of work with, I sat on the board for about 3 years. It's a re-granting institution, so they re-grant grants from the state and distribute them back into the community. They find different partners to work with. They put on various arts events. If you've seen support local art as a catchphrase, that's kind of something that they sort of really used as an advertising tactic. And it's just kind of a general promotion of art. Like, we really want to promote local art. We want to promote the respect for local art. Fargo's still working on that big time. We just don't have a big enough local art kind of public art, I should say, scene. You look at like a Sioux Falls where there's a lot of downtown sculpture and things like that. We would love to be at a point where it becomes something similar, where public art is more respected, I guess.
Yeah. First question up front, Evan.
For both of you, I guess, could you describe your ideal client? Ben, you did this a little bit, I think, but your ideal client in terms of the work and also the client themselves, how they are to work with, and what you're doing to get a higher proportion of those clients in your life.
Okay. So my ideal client is somebody who wants something, they want to stand out. They want to be unique and do something that possibly I'm the only person they know who can do it. That's kind of what I'm going for. And the way that I do it is like kind of making my brand a little more obscure and making people dig a little deeper to make sure that I'm the right guy. Also, my Instagram is basically my portfolio. If you go on Instagram, it's like that's what I do, and I curate it very well to where it's like these are my favorite projects. I guess that's kind of the ways that I'm pushing towards that.
Yeah, I would say mine's pretty similar too. I really, having worked now for the past year on Serial, I've found that my favorite clients are a lot of new startups. I just find that they're hungrier. They have more passion into what they're doing. You work with someone who's been at a company for 20, 30 years, and they don't really come to the table with much passion because they've seen it all, they've been there, they've done it, and they just want to get through another project, right? So I'm looking for people that are really hungry and excited and just really want their brand to shine out there, and they're the most fun to work with, I feel. And those are the ones that I think I've tried to target as best I can. And mostly it's been through things like this, through going outside of the design creative group, I guess, and trying to be more involved in entrepreneurship and startups and that whole kind of community.
Yeah, Kate?
Yeah, question for both of you, I guess. Ben, are you afraid that Big Boy is going to sue you? And on the sticker front, talk about pricing. Stickers are kind of expensive to purchase or to make, and how you go through pricing that, or is it more just, hey, we want to have it out there, and if I break even, that's great, and I can give some to Ben's legal defense?
So I'll just tackle that first question. I think they should be paying me, to be honest. No, And then I guess you can answer the second
I
one.
suppose we need to start a fund now, don't we? 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't make money off the sticker machines at all. I probably lose a little bit of money every time because I want it to be something that succeeds. I want it to be out there, and I want to do it my way too. I have been looking into some sponsors. As far as like cost of stickers, that's where it's really awesome that I have a partnership with Office Sign Company. They do a ton of stuff besides just like making signs. They do a lot of like CNC and fabrication and vehicle wraps and all kinds of stuff. So I get super cheap stickers from them, which is awesome. But yeah, the packaging of it, the getting ready for it, the printing of thousands and thousands of stickers, unfortunately, 50 cents a sticker does not cover much. So in the future, I think we're going to look at like maybe merchandising some things. Like as albino buffalo becomes like a thing, we're hoping to kind of expand that and hopefully maybe make a little bit off that.
Yeah, because I did the math. I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, it doesn't
how
add
you
up.
were doing
Not at all.
It's not good math.
Nope.
Yeah, we got a question from Twitter.
I have a couple from Twitter, and I think they're both for Jeff. Sorry, Ben. The first one is, how do you pick artists for the sticker series?
Pretty much just whoever. Well, it kind of started out with me just handpicking like the first series, and then from there, just finding maybe a couple artists here and there. But mostly, it's artists that approach me and artists that just kind of reach out and say, "Hey, I'm really interested in this. Can I be part of it?" If they can provide like a reasonable portfolio of work, and I can see that they're a legit person and they do work that would be interesting, like they're pretty much like slotted for a series. I think we have like at least the next series already kind of accounted for, but I'm still like collecting artists, and now I'll start collecting artist names from Bismarck too. So if you know anyone that might be interested, we would love to have them in there because it's kind of just promotion for them, and hopefully it's a more fun and accessible way to just interact with their art. So. Yeah.
Awesome. And then the second one, do you have almond milk available if I stop at the cereal in Fargo?
Sure. Yeah. We can get almond milk. Yeah, I have cereal dispensers in my office that are usually stocked with something. So I take the theme a little too far, but it's fun.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
What's your favorite cereal?
I knew someone was going to ask that.
He doesn't actually eat cereal.
I'm actually allergic. No, that's a good question. I don't know.
Do you want to know mine?
Yeah.
Reese's Puffs.
Oh, those are good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of a Captain Crunch fan. Crunch Berries. Those are good.
Well, to change topics a little bit, Ben, you want to talk about your involvement with Makewell, the gap that's kind of filling, and kind of what you saw when you started getting involved with that? Yeah,
so like Jeff said, a big part of what we do is finding these passion projects that we can latch onto and really... I'm going to be touching on this a little bit in the branding workshop, but basically... I found this, Ashton came to me with this idea, and it was one of these groundbreaking ideas that you can't say no to. Like, bring a tribe to the creative audience in Bismarck. And it was something that just resonated in my heart, and I said, yes, whatever you need, let's do it, So I don't know if that answers the question, but... Yeah, and Makewell's this weekend. Why, Jeff, you're in town, correct? And so stay tuned for some more events. I know it is sold out, but it's doing a lot for the maker design art community here in Bismarck and kind of statewide. So, yeah, another question right up here.
Yeah, I'm wondering about your education. Like, are you formally educated? Ben, it sounds like you kind of just have been doing this since you were 4, which is wonderful. And if you have resources for further education other than like the creative, what was it called? Creative Live or not Creative Live?
Creative Mornings.
Creative Mornings,
yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Want me to go?
Yeah, sure.
As far as in terms of education of my own personal education, kind of. So my background is I went to Concordia College as an undergrad in at that time it was studio art and communications. I actually moved to Savannah, Georgia. SCAD is a school there, Savannah College of Art and Design, and I got my MFA there. So I have a pretty formalized education there, but then I guess it's been working at all those different places since then and building that up and constantly trying to stay on top of technology and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on what you're looking for skill. Are you looking for skills or like education that you can bring good thoughts into the room and come up with really good ideas? Like, what kind of education are you kind of looking for? Right?
Because it takes both.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
It takes both sides.
There's a lot of resources online, like paid and unpaid. You can start with YouTube, and you can move to things like Creative Live. You said that's a really good one where you can go on there and just watch people do workshops. But then you can go to paid ones where, you know, it's a little more curated with what you're going to learn that day, and like things like Skillshare. That's a really good one. And then, yeah, I was formally educated at BSC. So I did a 2-year program to learn the programs.
Well, and now I think too, I always told my students, like, the first day of class, it was always, if you're here for a Photoshop class, the door's over there, basically, because why pay for education with everything now that you can get online for free? Like, you can search for it, you can find it, like how to use the software. If you want to go beyond the software and learn how to, you know, talk to people and how to communicate and how to, you know, how that relationship works, and then how do you interpret communication and how do people interpret the communication that you're producing, like that's stuff that only happens, I think, when you have real conversations with people, and that, you know, is both can be in the classroom and just casual conversation outside too.
Right.
So Jeff, what brought you back to North Dakota after going down to Georgia and, you know, spending some time down there? What was it that got you back to the state?
Well, a girl, I guess.
Nice.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
They always get you.
We got a question over here, Nick.
Yeah, the question for Ben. In your presentation, you had said for the future, you're hoping to develop a few products, some unique products.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't want to share what those are, so that nobody steals your thunder. But I'm curious, what products do you have in mind?
Well, so this isn't I want to do some innovative things, but this is just the first one that comes to mind. Is I went to Hallmark the other day, and I looked at the postcards that we have available for North Dakota, and I was like, oof, someone needs to fix this, right? So that's number one. And past that, it's like I want to kind of develop some accessory type things that I don't, like, I have to order them online to get these cool items. I'd like to just bring those so that you can see them right in front of you. Does that make sense? Like, a cool thing that I really like is my custom bandana. And I wear it all the time. It's like having a little piece of art in your pocket, but you can also, like, save the day. When somebody's crying, it's like, oh, sorry, Keenan.
Does that have your art on it?
No, but I'd like to start doing stuff like that.
Like the wrapper to Tootsie Roll Pops.
Yeah.
It's got the Indian shooting the star.
Yes.
I can see your bandana being made like that.
Let's do it. Let's talk. Yeah.
All right, we got another question from Twitter.
Yep, this is for Jeff. How did you arrive at the name Cereal? It's so unique and catchy.
All right, so it's a few-fold part of this. So my first easy answer is who doesn't love cereal, right? That's just the blanket statement that everybody has, because everybody has a story with cereal. They can always look back, and I would say like 99% of the people I talk to have some childhood memory of cereal that's usually pleasant, right? They have some memory of it being awesome. And that was my memory too. I grew up and I went to grandma's house and she always had cereal, and I would always pour myself like 5 bowls of cereal and, you know, start my day. Which I guess is kind of weird, but
no, that's good.
The longer answer is it's kind of a nod to this region and sort of where we are, and it's this idea that, you know, I'm sure you guys have this too, where, you know, wheat iconography is everywhere. It's used pretty all the time, like the buffalo, right? It's used everywhere. And it's kind of overplayed in a sense, and I think it's the idea that we produce a lot of wheat in this area, we produce a lot of agriculture, but it's not the wheat directly that we necessarily eat. It's what's produced from it. And so you add ingredients to that, you add sugar, you add marshmallows, you add vitamins and whatever else you want to make it more palatable and fun. That's ultimately what I do. I create fun things out of a partner's, and I call them partners, clients, but I create something more palatable and delicious out of what they bring me. So if that kind of makes sense.
Beautiful. Yeah. Question right up front here.
Ben, I have a question for you. What is your strategy for out-of-state marketing to bring those people?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I do is I have a few tactics on Instagram. I just randomly email people, or I start talking to them, and I try to build a relationship. All my clients, I try to build that relationship before we start working together. And so I actually did this with a couple of guys. I liked what they were doing. There's a motorcycle, he builds motorcycles, and I just emailed him. I said, hey, what if I just made you some stuff? Just for free, right? And some people would see that as a loss, and I see it as building that relationship to someday I'll be working for somebody in Texas. So there's just a few, I basically just try to weasel my way into people's Instagram accounts and start making friends with people.
So if you get a friend request from Ben...
No, there's something else coming. All right, we got one more question in the back, and then we'll ask our last question of the day. Jordan?
This is for Ben or Jeff. How did you know the time was right to jump ship and go out on your own? That's always a thing that's pretty scary to people. And I wonder, was it something where it's you had enough clients to where you knew you could have some runway for a while, or were you all right, here we go?
Go for it.
All right. So the first thing I have to say is it's never going to feel right. You're never going to be yeah, I got this. So it's always a jump. There's always going to be this gap where you're I don't know what it's going to be like on the other side. But I did have a good set of clients before I left. Actually, I had a lot of work before I left. That's kind of, I haven't been around long enough to see a lot of return clients right now, but basically I had a lot of work when I left. But you still are wondering, even if you are solid with clients, there's always that thought of are they still going to come? And
once these projects are done, then what?
Yeah, exactly. So that's always a constant thought. You just kind of try to not think about it too much, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You just try to go with it.
No, I totally agree. I don't think you're ever in a position where you're yep, this is perfect. This is the exact time that I should leave and do my own thing. I think the scariest part, though, is the jump. It's your mental, your questioning of, is this the right thing? Should I do this? And then really, I don't know, at least for me, it was immediately after I made the decision, I was oh my God, that was the hardest part, was just making the decision. So actually making the jump wasn't really that hard. It was just my own brain kind of telling me no and getting over that. But yeah, Ben, I had a bunch of, I actually had the work piling up at work outweighing my work. So it was kind of oh, well, pretty easy to kind of move myself over into this world and maybe save myself a few hours of sleep every night.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, for the new people here, we ask the same question, the same last question every single week. Lexi, will you do the honors for us?
Ben and Jeff, what can we as the Bismarck Mandan 1 Million Cups community do to support you?
So I guess the biggest thing for me is if you know somebody who would like seeing, I try to post every day. It doesn't always happen. But if you like what you saw up there, and if you think one of your friends might like what you saw up there, ask them to follow me on Instagram. That'd be really helpful for me.
Same. I have a website. Do not go to it. It says coming summer 2017, so it's still in the works. But if you go to my Instagram feed, that's where I'm posting a lot of stuff right now too. But yeah, support local and support local designers, illustrators, the creative talent that you have in town. More than likely, no matter what community you're in, you have a really awesome creative base there, and why not start there first? Buy stickers. Wherever that ends up being.
Awesome. Give it up for these two guys.
Okay, sounds good.
Sure.
Alrighty, that is going to wrap it for us this week. Thank you guys for coming. Next week we have Todd Nagel with Plains Mobile. So make sure you guys come back next week, 9 a.m., invite a friend, let some people know, and check out all the announcements in the Start Bismarck newsletter. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we will see you all next week.
I want to be with you. Just let me